everybody. So, welcome back. It's episode 6, and I feel like this episode could have been an email. I don't care what anybody wants to say. The
Not
episode
an
bored
email.
me to death, to be honest, because I caught it live and I had to rewatch it because I could not even remember anything that happened. It was very boring, like very boring. I don't care. We have too many dates. I'm not one to say, oh, drama, but the dates were so boring. I get that they wanted to show us what led to the people that got evicted, but come on, it was boring. Like, what did you guys think before we go into the episode? Or am I just judging it too much?
I mean, it exists. No, go ahead, Gigi. I'll come right after you. Go ahead.
Oh no, it's okay. I was just gonna say I agree with you. Like I was sitting there and it was like I was distracted the whole time because there was nothing that just kept me just engaged in what was going on. I was like, this is pointless. Like and just like you said, I understand them trying to show us what, led up to, the elimination. But damn, like could y'all have given it a little bit more, especially at this time we are talking about your non-negotiables. I honestly felt like there should have been like a little bit more engagement when it came to that. But it just seemed like a lot of them was kind of like standoffish, not even really giving their true selves. So it just, to me, it was pointless. It was time consuming. It was time wasted. Not even, it was just time wasted to me.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I think that honestly, to tell you the truth, um it was an episode that they could have kept, but also too like you gotta be able to fill in the episode order. To me, it's just I don't know. I think this was just kind of like a check in to be like, hey, we're still on TV, but nothing dynamic enough of why we're on TV, if that makes sense. So,
One thing about it, I feel like comparisons is the or how to say it. Comparison is the thief of joy, I believe. But that's what I found
mm,
myself doing. I found myself comparing old season with this season, and this season right here is
mhm.
just gonna be a season of its own. I try to find some enjoyment in watching it, but
Right.
it's kind of getting monotonous almost. It was cool to see old girl get eliminated. I feel like they got it right on this time because if she'd have stayed, she'd have created more and more drama. Um, and I really just don't feel like she was ready to love anyway.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
so
at
let's
least you didn't
Agreed.
go. At least you was upset about getting fish though, or asking about fish.
come on, please. Let's not
What?
Ha
remember that.
ha ha
What?
ha.
She
Let's not
actually
do
had her
that.
own personality. I'm just saying.
Nah. I mean, since we've already started this, let's just jump into the episode. So, Koshia gets eliminated, and as usual, she doesn't understand what led to that. She doesn't understand why she's eliminated. She feels like she's ready to love. I mean, every time someone gets eliminated, they always say, but I feel like I'm ready to love. Okay, but you guys act as if you are damaged. If every single person has had a conversation with you and they are scared of you, go. That's the problem. I just don't understand why she doesn't understand. Like, you love too hard and you love so possessively. I just don't understand why you are acting like you are. Gosh. Emotionally, she's so immature. I never really thought I was going to come at her. When I saw the cast pictures, she was the peak. Like, I was like, oh my god, this is going to be my girl for the season. But when she started talking, she just started sounding so emotionally immature. The digs, the shades she was throwing when someone talks. I understand you shading Will, but I mean, consistently having something negative to say about somebody and not listening to people's like opinions about you. It just really, I didn't like that. I didn't like that. So it was right to have a like they for once I agree that they did a right thing by throwing her off the show because she was bringing in so much toxicity, so much.
I told you,
What
I
do you
felt like
think?
she reminded me of Tequila just because of like the energy that she was given, especially like when it came to, wanting to get rowdy and threaten the other girl, and just like her whole the way that she was acting over her so-called connection,
Great
like her whole
comparison. That was a good
attitude
comparison.
just like you've seen it, like, and that's why I said she even kind of looks like her a little bit. I was like, wait a second, is she coming on with a new name? Like, okay, I'm confused. But still, she had this energy about her, and so did Mika. Mika had this was the same way. And honestly, I'm just gonna say it. Hey, Ladon, I'm gonna say it. I'm not feeling Mika either. And listen here, I know you said that you don't think her body's fake, but baby, that body is fake. She just knows how to keep it maintained. Okay, she's just maintaining that thing, but that is definitely surgically altered. But no, both of their attitudes was just stink. Like you don't believe anything Will's saying just because it's him delivering the message. Like you're damn near not even mad at the message, you're just mad at the messenger. Which I felt like that just shows a lot about your character and who you are. You're not willing to listen to nobody, really, but you're damn sure not going to listen to somebody who you feel like you have no connection with and you feel like he's lying, but then turn around. I know you've seen the show, so I'm pretty sure you can see that these men felt this way about you. So I wonder, it's like, how do you feel now? Are you trying to change those things, or are you still feeling like you just have no problem? And I feel like that would be a problem with her in a relationship. Like, she's not wrong. You're the one who's wrong. She does everything right. Like it would always be like a her against you.
Yeah, I think that's a very accurate assessment, Gigi. And listen, I think that in the words of Karen Huger, I'm only judging what you're giving me. And of course, everything is in the eye of the beholder. But but at some point in time, you do have to take responsibility for what you do. Now, even though Alexis is she basically is a little bit of a trouble starter. You know what I mean? Because that whole experience with Will, of being on the floor and stuff like that, and that situation was that situation. But with this, it seems like her energy is I'm on what you own, but she doesn't have an off switch. Because there's a difference between defending yourself and going off. So that's how I feel about Koshia.
I really thought she was gonna be a bright spot at one time.
Same, brother, same.
Yeah, sad that she's gone, but I think they saved her image by evicting her early, because if she had stayed longer, it would have just been Janelle 2.0. At least by the ending of the season, nobody will remember that she acted this crazy. But let's now go on to the pointless dates that we had to watch. We're going to start off with Justin. I guess that they wanted to show us Justin because he has missed about 4 episodes before he was introduced. So they really
Hmm.
wanted to get us to know him. And honestly, I could actually care less. I'm not being all shady, but really I could care less about Justin. I'm not interested in you. You came in way too late. I've already moved on. I'm not like bothered about anything that has to do with you. So Justin went on 2 dates. He went on a dancing date with Rashina, and he went on another date with Mia. So on his day with Rashina, he said his non-negotiable is communication. But on his date with Mia, he started saying very like, I was listening to what he was saying, and I'm like, dude, what you're saying here compared to what you told Mika is like the total opposite. Talking to Mia, he said, um, she was like, oh, she does not know anything about him, so she would like to get to know him. The only thing that they had in common was that they were both from Mississippi, and then his non-negotiable was that he's family oriented, and knowing that Mika wants kids is a green flag. This whole thing just threw me back to his conversation with Mika. Honestly, I couldn't care less about his meeting with Rashina because I felt like it was a waste of space, a waste of time, was unnecessary. There's no connection. Rashina is just trying to hang on to one guy that she'll find some connection with. Justin was not interested. For Mia and Mika, he's definitely lying to one of them. Because you cannot tell Mika that you are not bothered if she does not have kids, that you have made peace with that. And then you are saying in your confessionals that Mia wanting children is a green flag. So what exactly is the truth?
I feel like with him, the truth is more so like because of the age that he's at, he's accepting if he doesn't have kids, so he's okay with it. It's something he's okay with. And sometimes conversations are different depending on the person you're having a conversation with. So you're having a conversation with someone who has kids and doesn't want kids. If you're really feeling them, sometimes you'll go ahead and compromise with what you may want. So him being accepting of, okay, if I don't have kids, I'm okay with it. And if I do have kids, I'm okay with it. I feel like that's where he's at. So with Mika not wanting kids, he's okay with it because she has kids. He could be a stepdad. He's going ahead and accepting that, responsibility if it comes. But being a man with no kids, if he finds a woman that doesn't have kids and wants kids, he's even more open to it because of the fact that he doesn't have kids and he doesn't have to settle or just compromise with what it is that he's truly wanting when it comes to family. So I kind of understood the conversation when it came to that with him, like, because he even did the same thing with Rashina, with, telling her, hey, if I don't have kids, that's fine. I've accepted it. I'm at this age, da 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 da. But then, yeah, when it came to me, it was, oh, you don't have kids? Green flag. We can both have kids together. So I really feel like it all depends on like who you're having the conversation with.
Sorry, I just don't agree with that because I've told you guys, for me to date somebody, I will tell you that my mental state cannot carry kids. But it doesn't mean that, oh, I'm not going to have kids, basically. So for him to not be honest with what he really wants, but tweaking it to be comfortable with whoever is listening to him, that's just so weird. It's the same thing with Mika. She tells some people she doesn't want to have kids. She tells Dominic, "Oh, I would like to have kids, depending on if I find someone that I trust and order." I feel my point is just be straightforward. I want kids, but I am willing to settle so that she knows what she's in for. Because to be honest, after he had that conversation with Mia, he was really shining his teeth, and I'm sure that she has moved to the number one in the ladder for him. I don't know why people just can't be honest with what they truly want, and they're trying to make someone feel very comfortable or appeased because of. I just don't buy that. I would rather make you uncomfortable with my choice than.
No, I agree. I think
I
it's a
mean,
very no. Go ahead, G.
no, go ahead, Braylon. I was just gonna say in a way, like I understand, like one, it does seem like he's trying to be approachable. Like he is trying to be like, so he is kind of like saying what I guess almost like what you want to hear depending on who it is. Like I said, conversations change depending on who you talk to. So he's kind of like trying to be approachable and light. But in a way, he never said, no, let's just clear this up. He never ever said, okay, I absolutely do not want kids. What he has said was he has accepted if he doesn't have kids. He's accepted not having it, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't want kids of his own. But still, like if you're talking to somebody, like just, I guess, even say that more, like be more clear on that. Like, hey, I do want kids of my own, which I think he did kind of say, like, I do want kids of my own, but if I don't have them, that's fine. But like, make sure you keep that same energy with everyone. Don't just, you know, pick and choose who you want to be like that with. Because there are still even people who don't have kids who decide that they don't want kids. So it's still like, are you going to be okay with that?
I
Yeah.
think it was just. Go ahead, bro.
No, I was just gonna say very quick. I think that this conversation is usually very difficult because as a man, you try your very best to be responsible for what you say, right? And I think as we grow up, um, we have our absolutes, right? Our standards or requirements, but then life happens. So I do think that if you're going to play the field, then you need to play the field respectfully. Um, telling, one that, hey, I'm okay with not having kids, and then going to somebody that does have kids, be like, oh, great, you want kids. It's double handed. Um, and there is a difference between just saying anything to make someone comfortable and saying it because you care. I was talking to a friend last night that she already has kids, and we were talking about if we actually did end up getting married. And she asked me, would I want kids? I'm like, yeah, but also too, I don't want to lose you because if y'all don't know about black mortality rates, um, they will piss you the uck off. But she said for my husband, I would get my tubes on time. So it's about being responsible for what you say, and the sincerity in your energy.
The funny thing about this
That
is,
I
to
just
me,
completely understand.
hello. The funny thing about that is,
Yeah,
this is
go
to
ahead,
me.
Q.
The funny thing about this is to me is, um, every woman that Justin interacted with before Mia had kids. Finally, on this episode, he meets a woman who does not have kids, and the conversation with her is, oh, he asked her, "Do you have kids?" And she was like, "Nah, she doesn't," which is a green light. So most of the time, when you're 30 plus, a lot of people come with that. You know what I'm saying? Come with kids, come with other responsibilities. So I think he accepted the fact that because I'm 30 plus years old, that's what I'm going to. Well, a lot of women are going to come with kids. You know what I'm saying? But preferably, if she don't have kids, that would be even better. But it really just depends on the woman with him. I feel like he's attracted to my Mia, to Mia. I think it makes more sense with Mia. The other girl who he went on a date with, I think she's just helping him along the process. And Justin, he really got the pick of the litter because a lot of women keep bringing his name up, trying to get to know them. You know what I'm saying? So I think it really would depend on the woman. I just don't think he gonna pick any woman, but I think really think it depend on the woman that he would choose. But I mean, I'm kind of in between the fence with it because I'm just like, at one moment you like, having kids. Having kids is cool, but if you had none, it's a green light. So I mean, it's kind of like, I feel like he kind of gaslighting a little bit too. You know what I'm saying? Because he's just saying what people want to hear. But at the same time, it's kind of like it really don't matter. But I feel like he gaslighting too.
Yeah. But I'm going to see how this thing plays out because I feel like one thing people will talk and then
The actions don't follow.
yeah. Yeah. The elimination process kind of controls how people act. I don't like that part, yes, because now you have to be at least cordial or friends with like multiple people, even if you have one. You can remember Miami season, Cornelius and Camille getting evicted because they did not get to know other people and it was only focused on Camille. I don't like that you have to continuously date other people even though you are committed to one person. I'm actually surprised that they got engaged. No, I'm not surprised. They've been together for like 2 years now, so good on them. But now let's move on to another pointless date.
Solana, you said you surprised I got engaged?
I said I'm surprised, but not surprised. No, initially I was surprised during the first year of their relationship because I thought they were going to break up. But then I saw that he was always defending her and everything, and I felt like he's used to her craziness. There's always one person for us out there. So congrats to both of them. I'm actually proud
It's
of them.
it's a blow during that season that they really never showed the affection that he had for her. Because ain't no way that this man is gonna publicly, what I mean, take pictures and put their relationship publicly, but they never really showed his like his expressing himself or his love towards her during that show. I think they don't do a good job with that sometimes.
And you know
Yeah.
what? I think that's also too on the couples to recognize they need time to breathe. I think that's up to them. Now, of course, we all know that these reality shows tape about 12 hours a day, up to 20 hours a day sometimes. And it is up to you and your partner to understand that you need time outside of the show. Um, the words of
Agreed.
Life
Agreed.
Jennings, that, when the rim stops spinning, all the gold digging women disappear, she'll still be here. What will still be here after the show? That's like this other show called Are You the One, where it's like 10 men, 10 women, you gotta find each other. And if you do, or if y'all all find y'all match, each of y'all receive $50,000. Now, my match may have another match, but the way I look at it is, and this may sound harsh to some of y'all, but I'm like this: if that's the love of my life, and we each get $50,000, and we all find our match, well, hell, I got 50, she got 50. That's $100,000, and go live the hell on. But you have to have that mindset to want to make that investment outside the show.
Yeah, truthfully, that makes sense. So I'm actually proud of them that they got engaged. I mean, we've gotten three engagements post season. No, five engagements I think post season. That's not bad. But let's go on to these dates, Chaz and Alexis. Honestly, I just think they are starting the downfall of Alexis because this conversation and the other conversations in the entire episode did not just make her look good, anyways. So she meets up with Chaz. I really do not understand what the ladies see in him. He's a fine man, but he bores me to death. And I think he's the kind of man that knows he's fine, so he feels like that's all that should work for him. So on the dates, she starts asking about their non-negotiable, and she says her non-negotiable is communication. I mean, everybody keeps saying non-negotiable is communication, but every single time we get to the reunion, we always hear, "Oh, you did not pick my call. Oh, you did not call me. Oh, you did not do this." And I'm like, wow, but you guys are always saying your non-negotiable is communication. So what exactly keeps happening? And
Great
then
point. Great point.
she starts talking about the Koshia stuff. She says, she asks him, "Were you bothered that she left?" I felt that that was very vile to have asked on a date. It was so unnecessary and uncalled for to just bring up her. Yes, I know that Koshia acted um, crazy, but you're on a date and then you're bringing up Koshia's issue. And then he obviously what is close to Koshia, so he would definitely have felt some type of way that Koshia left the show. And she's like, "Oh, but two of us had like a scuffle last week during the women's lounge, and then she was shouting at me, coming at me. So for me, I'm not bothered that she left. I'm happy and all that." And he's like, "Oh, I understand where you're coming from." But my point is, why would I go on a date and start talking about someone I fought with, and if, especially when the person is close with you?
No, correct. I mean, if you're going to try to win a race, you focus on your own race, not the pace of how someone else is in their race.
Right. And even her coming and asking him like how he felt about it, she could have just left it at how does he feel about the elimination process as a whole. But to just like, I feel like it was tasteless. Like she just there was no reason for her to bring it up. And like I understand she felt some type of way about what Goshia, did in the whole interaction that they had at the ladies' lounge. But still, that doesn't mean that you need to what's the word? Um like you don't have to keep pushing this narrative. Like it happened in the ladies' lounge, and that's been the whole problem. Is you're steady bringing up stuff that happens in the ladies' lounge. You're told in the very beginning what happens there stays there. Definitely couldn't take her ass to
Correct.
Vegas because she is telling everything.
There needs to be,
So
and
I
you know
just
what? Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead and finish.
no, no, go ahead. I was just saying, like, I just feel like she needs to learn, you know, just like discretion. Like, girl, she just needs to just stop talking or focus on her. Like, Don't worry so much about what the other women are doing or what they said or anything like that. Focus on you, what you need to do in this process, and be the best person that you can be for yourself. Because it's just showing that you're kind of messy.
Yeah, I didn't like that part, you know what I mean? Because if you was really locked in on your process, you know what I mean, other things that happen throughout the show, you wouldn't really be worried about. You're in front of Chaz. Y'all seem like y'all got a great connection going. It seemed like you're more attracted to Chaz than Jonathan or the other guy. You know what I mean? It's the most I've really seen you interact with a guy. After the fact to say, you know, I'm interested in him. I want to see where it goes from here. That's the most I've really seen her talk about any guy. Um, then for her to bring up Koshia's getting kicked out the process and this, and this, and she didn't vibe with it. You know, all that really just water under the bridge now because she's no longer here. You didn't even have to bring that part up. You know what I mean? So it's not the fact that they're trying to make her seem like she's being messy. I feel like she's being a little messy or just or being a little petty.
No, I totally agree, and I think honestly too, to unprovoked Auntie's point, I agree that she is condoning Will because he see here's the thing, right? Um, One thing to know, and two things for sure, is that you would you this would be my barometer for me making decisions on the show if I was on the show. Would I make this same decision in real life with no cameras? Yes or no? If any one of y'all came to me and said, "Hey, Bray, I had this really bad date. I don't know about this person. If they try to find you through social media, can you just let me know?" That's not my right to go then tell somebody. And honestly, Alexis is gonna catch her ass up in some shit that she's not gonna be able to get
Yep.
out of. And I think that there needs to be consequences for not respecting the lounge. For example,
Like it's already been foreshadowed. It's going to
right.
happen very soon.
Exactly. For example, if you say something out of the ladies' lounge and two or more agree, then guess what? You are automatically out of the next date. You hit them where they think they have power.
Yeah,
Curveballs
Right.
of
Or that
responsibility.
curveball
I don't think she
writer.
can.
Tommy throws that curveball. Okay, she has to leave with one of the guys because this is not the first time that it's been where she's talked about the ladies' lounge or what's happened in the ladies' lounge. Now, some of the stuff I understand because during elimination, we know that they go through kind of the conversations that have been had somewhat to an extent. They let it be known, hey, well, this is kind of what happened to make them feel like you're not ready, da 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 da. But it's not even just like she's doing it just at the ladies' lounge. Like she's pillow talking, she's calling, texting, like they're talking about this, outside of cameras. So I feel like with her, if this is what you're going to continue to do, okay, well, curveball is one lady's going to get chosen to go home along with one of the guys.
Well, that's
Because
going to
at
be
this point, yeah, of course, we're not going to do that. But it's like at this point, there does need to be some type of consequences for when you're going against what happens in the lounge.
yeah,
Because
but
just like was it Patrice said, this is getting dangerous. Like, come on, you never know what could be on someone's mind or how somebody reacts to.
you're jumping the gun with the Patrick stuff.
But let's be for real. There's a bunch of conversation be happening in the lady lounge, outside the ladies lounge, outside the guys lounge. You know, a lot of that conversation is being happened. Let's I believe this. You know, that's gonna be that regardless. You know what I mean? People are gonna talk about having the ladies lounge. People are gonna talk about having the guys lounge. You know what I mean? That's just gonna happen regardless. There's no way Tommy believe that that's not going to happen. That's gonna happen regardless.
Yeah,
We've
but
seen
let's
it
move
happen.
on. Yeah, let's. You won't see it because it's not affecting people. So let's move on to another pointless date. I think we can wrap this one up in 3 minutes because, to be honest, I really do not know why it was on the show, but I guess they wanted to make that for 2 minutes or what. So we have Dominic and Mika on a date, and it was a coffee date or whatever they were doing. Then they started the whole non-negotiable. Initially, I thought they had connections, but maybe it's the way the episode was edited. Like they just really went straight to the non-negotiable stuff. The non-negotiable stuff, and she said, a non-negotiable is that her man must have a sense of humor. For someone who does not have, she really wants a man that has, at least to what I'm seeing. I think that's what I need to be saying every time. What I'm seeing from the show, she does lack a sense of humor, but she wants that from a man. And then he says he his non-negotiable is a woman that can't cook because he loves to cook. So he wants someone that they can go 50-50 on cooking. And I feel like that actually makes sense. But for me, I really hate cooking. Then they start talking about the whole childbirth situation, and she says it's not like she's advanced to having kids, but as you guys said last week, she just wants a man that is perfect or would make her safe enough to have one more child. And it's like, yeah, don't worry. I'm definitely here, regardless of what you want. If you decide not to have kids, I just have to work with you. I'm not. It's not. Well, it's not a non-negotiable thing for me to still date you even though you don't have kids. For one, I felt like, okay, maybe that's the answer that she was looking for. I mean, you already said you are really skeptical about having kids for a man because you do not know who you can trust. And then he's accepting that, okay, he will try to level up and make you trusting enough to have a child for him. But meanwhile, he's willing to date you, willing to make you feel special and everything. So I don't know where the problem came from that she's complaining now that he's just saying what will please her. He's just like trying to submit his resume. So I was like, okay, maybe it was edited to look so nice, but I guess maybe all these contexts were edited out. But what I got from this was not someone who was really like reading his resume to you. Because from episode one, he has shown interest in you, and he was so disappointed when he didn't want to have kids, but was still willing to date you. So I just do not know where Mika is coming from, and I think she just needs to be honest with herself that she may have initially liked Dominic, but the more conversations they had, especially when the kids thing came up, she became put off. Just be honest.
Listen, like I said, when it comes to Mika, she just throws me off. Like, one, seeing her attitude, like when Will was telling her how, the guys feel like you're more of a homie, like you're, more of a friend, and she just didn't want to believe it. But it's like, girl, we see that. Like, I haven't, honestly, I don't know not one connection that I've seen her have. And honestly, I haven't even seen it where it's like, oh, she could possibly, be feeling him. No, like, I don't really feel like the process of looking for love is really something that she's looking for. She might be looking for a caretaker, or like someone said in the chat, a sugar daddy. That's very possible. But as far as looking for like real love, like I don't know. I see Mika as being superficial. Like I don't know. She just gives me that superficial, materialistic, like, you know what I'm saying, type vibes. And I very well could be wrong, but that's just I don't know, she's just off putting to me. It's just something about her. I can't put my finger on it just yet, but y'all see, it's something about her.
I'm not really a fan of Mika right now. Um, not really a fan of Mika. I really don't feel like her person is there. But what did happen, they were having their communication. But right before she had that communication with Justin, and Justin explained to her like, "Hey, I don't mind. I came to grips if I don't have kids." Now, Dominique on then he really wants them, man. I feel like she kind of cut Dominique off because of the conversation she had with Justin. Because Justin, she said she give Justin a few more points because of his point of view, like If I have him, I have. I don't, I don't. But oh boy, he want him. You know what I'm saying? But then at the beginning of the show, or beginning of the episode of the day, she was like, I really wasn't finding him attractive, and he was short. So I just really think that she just wanted a connection there, period. And she found one with him, but she really don't want to be with him. But she would, she would have settled.
No, I totally agree with that. I think with Mika, she's cautious, but she's not being cautious for a purpose. I think she's just being cautious just to be cautious. And when you do that, no one can really get to know you. You know what I mean? Um, because I did see chemistry with them, but I think, Dom, I think it's Dom, right? His name?
Who, the guy? Yeah,
Yeah,
Dominique.
Dominique, thank you. I think Dominique is really there for love. And I think he has a lot of great qualities. I think sometimes we will psych ourselves out um, of what we deserve. You know what I mean? So, Mika, I think she needs to be more 10 toes down because they're almost halfway through the process. So, if you're still being cautious all this way through, then at this point, it's just like somebody just said. I think it was Unprovoked Auntie or somebody said that she's just there just to get airtime at this point. But I am proud of Mika though for
Yeah, that
not
was Allow
reacting.
Me that said that.
Yeah, say that again. Who?
Allow Me.
Allow me. Shout out to you for that articulate
Hmm.
comment. But you know what though? I will say this: Mika's not getting upset with being called a particular word though. I'm proud of this cast and not upset about particular words. Just let's roll.
Oh, come on.
I
Now
didn't
let's
say
go
the
on.
word, Solana. I didn't say the
Let's
word.
let's go on to where the episode starts getting a little bit interesting. So we're going to move on to the double date or triple date, whatever, quadruple date, I don't care, between Williams, Vanessa, Patrice, and Alonso. So during this date, one thing I noticed was that Patrice is more confident because she definitely dominated the entire date. She made it as if Vanessa was the journalist that came to scribble what was happening on the date, and the only time Vanessa had an like some sort of highlight in the entire date was when our issue with Williams came up. Honestly, I felt very that Williams came up very pathetic in that moment because if you supposedly have been talking with this lady and then you tried communicating with her outside the process and unfortunately it never went through, why are you saying this out in the middle of a group date? Why couldn't you probably meet her in one of the group settings? You guys had the group setting the last time. Why didn't you bring this up then? And then when you found out that, oh, the fault was yours, the way it was like, okay, maybe next time I'll try to communicate to you. I will have your number blocked. Just saying.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, do we remember last season with Vernisha and what was the brother's name, child? Not Uncle Maurice. But what was the other brother's
You
name?
talking about Jabari or Tabari?
Tabari. Yeah, Tabari. And you know how it was the fact of there was no communication there, and then I think it was one of the other cast members said it was the phone number thing. I'm just like, okay. At some point in time, it's like either y'all like each other or you don't. And I don't like the fact, like you said, Solana, I don't like the fact that this was a group date and you said this in a group date. If you're trying to build a connection with somebody, you build that connection with that person, right? That is like me being at the Grammy Awards, right? And let's just say that I see, India Ari, one of the greatest singers of all time, and should be doing a lot more work. Now that Katy Perry has left, I think India Ari could judge American Idol just fine, probably do better than Katy Perry's existence on Idol, but that's neither here nor there. But the point is, if I liked India Ari and Gigi and Solana and Lays, y'all can let me know. Would India Irie respect me if I sent Q over to tell her that Brainly likes you, or would India Irie step up if I said I went over and liked her?
I think honestly, any real woman is going to accept and respect the approach more if it's coming directly from the person who is, you know, wanting that person, you know?
That's my point
Like
right there. So
we're
go
not
ahead.
in high school, definitely not in high school or junior high where you gotta, you know, send a note through your friend or wait until passing
Mhm.
period and, just hope that, things are said. We're adults now. So I feel like the communication should definitely be way better at the age that everyone is in this on this journey. You guys are not kids. Most of you have kids who are probably teenagers or, close to it. So you
Mhm.
know how to be. And my whole thing is don't I want to be approached the way that I would approach someone. I want
Right.
to have conversations the way I would have conversations. If I feel like we're not communicating and our conversations aren't matching up, I'm not going to continue to waste my time to try to keep on communicating. That time is done and over with. I'm going to move forward. As you said, Solana, blocked. I'm going to block you.
Right.
And honestly, I don't have to block you. I just don't have to answer either because, sometimes I like to just see my phone ring and just not answer. That's just me.
Mm.
But it's like he didn't have to call her out then. And there's definitely probably other times where he could have brought that up. But it's like, Sana, you made a good point. They keep on talking about communication being a big issue or they're non negotiables and, communication. But it doesn't seem like anyone knows how to truly communicate well when it comes to this whole process. Because that is something that gets said every time. And at least each person on here has said it at least one time. Communication. Oh, you didn't communicate with me, or I tried to communicate with you and I didn't get through. There's always going to be a lack of communication, but something that we've learned and we've all talked about. If you truly like someone, you will find the time and you will find the way to communicate. You will find the way to be present. You will find the way to let that person know exactly how you feel about them. So in this, it's all really on these people aren't communicating because they really don't like these people. Some of them really are here just for airtime. They're really just here to honestly get on camera so that other people out in the world can find them. Not the people that they're on the show with, but other people outside of the show. That's what I truly feel like. I feel like they're there just to have their faces to be put
And
out there.
you can't blame anybody. If you started watching Ready to Love from the inception, you will know that now Ready to Love is just a variety TV show. It's no longer for love. So if you want your 5 minutes of fame, fine, go get it. I'm really not against it. Just give me a good show, man. I'm not even going to disturb myself anymore with the love aspect of the whole thing. So let's just move on. Or could you have anything to say before we move on so that we can hurry it up?
Q,
Q, we
your
can't
mic is
hear you. Oh, we still can't hear you. Maybe you should go out and come in.
yeah.
But while he's coming back in, let's just move on to Rashina's situation. So
Mm.
Rashina
So yeah, Rasheen brought Will and Jonathan for some body butter. And so it was this specialist that wanted to get into basically just centering yourself for intentional body butter. Now, Jonathan, he's my dude because he's like, listen, I'm here for being in the now. But why does my ears have to be in the now too? This thing is too damn loud. Hell. So
Right. He couldn't focus on the body or the butter. His head was ringing.
that part, and not the head that should be ringing, but that's neither here nor there. So we move on to
Lord have mercy. Listen.
my
Look,
damn ass.
so
Um, no, go ahead, Gigi,
no,
because
I'm just gonna say, so with this no, so with this date, we seen that so Rashina, Jonathan, and Will were all there making their own sense. And I actually like the concept. It was like, hey, you tell me what scent you think I am, and I'm going to tell you what scent I think you are. That was kind of like a good way to engage and kind of like see where everybody
absolutely.
was at with it. And as they started to, collect the scents that they wanted and get on to making the body butter, the conversation did turn to where it's so what are your non-negotiables? Rashina is her main thing is communication because she says she's big on communication. She's big on just like she told Justin, closed mouths don't get fed. Like you got to speak on what it is that you want so that we're able to, you know, communicate and actually put action towards what it is we are communicating about, which I completely understand her. Will, his was faith. He's big on faith, and that's not the first time he said it. He has said this more than one time. Like his faith is strong, and the woman that he has to be with, he wants them to have a strong faith. Now, you don't have to be perfect. He's not saying that he wants you to be, you know, church every day of the week, dressed down past your knees. You know what I'm saying? He's not saying that, but at least have faith, at least have a strong belief in a higher power. Now, when it came to Jonathan, there was nothing. Crickets, silence. And to me, that says a lot about him. And that showed exactly where he is in this process in his life and really what it is that he wants as a whole. Because for him to not even or to feel that, oh, I don't want to open up and I'm not trying to be vulnerable, why are you here? This process isn't for you because you need to at least be vulnerable when you're wanting to get to know someone and you're wanting them to get to know you, you need to be open and vulnerable. You need to be honest and you need to at least let it be known what it is that you want so that later on down the line, it's not a conflict and you're not like, well, I should have told you. If I would have told you this, things would have been better, or I thought I did. No, like there needs to be clear cut communication, and he's definitely lacking in that department. But about that scene, how did everybody else feel about that part?
This one date they really didn't have to show. They really didn't because those two guys are interested in Alexis, and I'm really not sure who her connection with. I think her connection is with Justin more than anything. What they're missing a lot of times is bigger group dates. I know in previous shows and previous seasons they had bigger group dates, and what bigger group dates does is it lets everybody interact with everybody. So you build more than one connection by talking to more than one people instead of having these pointless dates like this. You know what I'm saying? So if you get more people involved, you get more people chit chatting, you get more numbers changed. Only time they had was they had those mixers. They had two separate mixers, and then they had that one big mixer. Outside of that, and then they had the pajama party, but everybody had to start connecting and going their separate ways by then. So it really doesn't seem no connection as a whole, men to women. I really don't see that the women really value the men like that, and I really don't think that the men are really taking the opportunity to really get to know the women so they can have more of an understanding of who they are. Will and Jonathan, you know what I'm saying? I believe it was just time for them to go because their interaction with the other women was very mute. This date here, I really felt like they could have dug a little deeper with her, understand a little bit more than who she was. They had the opportunity to build or find a connection, and none of them really took the advantage of the opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree. I think that these dates, Q, and Gigi and Solana and our Ready to Love family, or Ready to Love Nation, the unofficial name of the Ready to Love fandom. Um, I think that these dates sometimes can not only make or break the show, but I think sometimes these dates are the way people use their love card in the show. And what I
Man, it's
mean by
breaking
that,
the show.
say that again.
I said it's breaking the show because I'm bored.
No, it absolutely is, and this is what I mean by using your love card on the show, right? You know how we all use a debit card, credit card, life purchases and stuff. If somebody wants to bring up something that you did, all they gotta do is swipe your love card of like, oh, you remember on that day when you were that stupid, and then you were that stupid on that date, and you were authentic on that day, and you want me to catch fish on that day. You were concerned about me catching fish on that day. You were combative on this day. Like it just gets so convoluted. Oh, and let's not forget. Oh, you didn't come authentic because those were fake red bottoms. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, it seems like they carry things from date to date, and they're allowing moments to determine how they move when it really should just be about the person. So, and everything I said was alleged in my opinion for entertainment purposes only.
I agree.
So before we go on, can you guys hear any background noise?
No.
No.
Oh, okay, because they are doing something around me and it's making some sort of noise anyways. But let's go on to the final, second to the final part, basically leads to the final, which is the ladies lounge. So we get into the ladies lounge. Everybody says who they are interested in, who they are not interested in, their dates, and then Patrice brings up the whole Alexis telling Will about this. See, this is the one time that I actually stood behind Alexis. I don't care what anybody wants to say. As much as she's telling things from the ladies' lounge, the other people are also telling. Just because one person got caught does not mean that you people will crucify her. When you guys are doing the same thing. But she gave him an example of what was said that made him fall to the bottom. She never said Patrice said. So it was very annoying to me to watch Mika and Patrice come for Alexis. Meanwhile, Patrice was so quiet. You had all this energy for Alexis, but when Will was chatting shit in your face, you could not say anything. I just don't understand.
I agree
You
with you on
kept
that. And that actually had pissed me off too. Like,
you kept mom. He was saying something, saying, "Oh, do not try to smear my name, do not try to do this." So you knew you were wrong because first, let's even start from the beginning of the whole issue. You misconstrued what he told you, and you try to damage this man's image. I don't care if he's a millionaire or not. We obviously know that he's lying, but you created this image that is a bomb that is sleeping on the floor in people's houses. That was the image you created of this young man, and nobody wants their image to be smeared. That's the same way I feel like when people try to, like, people say allegedly this person does this, like for all this celebrity tea, it always rubs me the wrong way because people be like, oh, celebrities should not respond, celebrities should not do this, but you guys are day in day out smearing these people's name, and you don't feel like they should respond. That's exactly what Patrice is exhibiting here. So you went on a rant talking about how this guy is this is that, because they obviously edited what you said to be 1 minute, and I'm sure you said more than that. So you know you're wrong, because why are you so pissed that he found out you were the one who said it? And I felt very uncomfortable also that the other ladies, except if they edited it out, but it doesn't look like it was edited out, did not agree that he, or did not even say that he went around trying to find out who said that. So he just puts me like, I'm like, why is nobody saying that? Because we obviously saw him going around trying to ask that. We even called him like, I had bad things to say to him about that because he put a target on her back. So why didn't
It,
every other person say that?
it's the narrative that they're trying to build. They're trying to point a narrative to make that girl seem like she messy. It's the show, because ain't no way them other girls seen that right there happen, and nobody stood up for this girl. And another thing about it, I really don't feel like a lot of them women care too much for Alexa because Alexa have so many connections. You know what I'm saying? And the other one really don't have as many connections as Alexa. So I really feel like it's the show that's making Alexa seem like she's messy. Because it ain't no way that those other women don't step up and say nothing to help her. It's no way that don't happen. And then for Will to be, and then the deliberation for Will to even name to be on the chopping block because of that, them other women really said something. And I really don't feel like that the producers showed that part.
I will agree with all of you. And listen, do I think that Alexis needs to be punished for speaking outside the ladies' lounge? Yes, I do. But also, too, in the same token, you also rather should be responsible for what you say. You said it. That's it. That's all. Um, and it does seem that Alexis does have some more heat on her in terms of connections than others. And listen, what ends up happening is what ends up happening is you what you give out is what we judge. So you don't realize that there's more to come. And what did the cast for season 8 say, y'all? That they saw none of the episodes, right? Am I right or am I right?
Yeah.
That
Right.
they saw none of the
Yeah.
episodes. So because you don't know what's coming, you think that this is it. And that's what people don't really realize. It's like, okay, once the show is taped, you do realize it has to air. So even though Alexis was wrong and she deserves to be punched for the ladies' lounge, the way y'all going in on her, we haven't seen the whole season yet. So I would just say
But
tread lightly.
another thing about that, Bray, is, you know what I mean, when you come on the show and you're actually looking for love, you really are coming with the you really are coming with that. You really thinking that, okay, this is what I'm here for. You're not thinking about how you're going to be perceived throughout the show. You know what I'm saying? So you really coming out there giving who you are, you know what I'm saying? And whatever direction they want to go with your character, they go with.
I absolutely agree. No,
Yeah.
no, no, no,
And to
no
think
doubt about it.
about, go ahead, bro.
I was just agreeing with Q, no doubt about it. Of when you come on, that's your intentionality, but also too, in the same token, you have to recognize how you are a chemical agent in this compound. That's all I'm saying. But I agree with you, Q. Go
Totally
ahead,
agree.
Q.
Yeah, yeah, totally agree. I know,
Yeah.
no ifs,
Now,
ands about
going to Alexis talking about what happens in, in the lounge, I'm going to have to kind of switch my words a little bit because now listen, should she take accountability for some things that were said? Yes. But then again, what she said was not so off the wall and out of pocket that it would cause conflict. I feel like what was said, just like um, Patrice saying that this man basically is a bum, has nothing. That's demeaning this man's character. You're calling him basically, like I said, a bum. And if that's not what it is, and you're saying this to all the other ladies, so if there was any other ladies interested in him, they might not be now because you just said that he is homeless or he doesn't have anything or he whatever the case is because of what you said that could change the feelings of other women wanting to get to know him, and I don't think that's fair. So I feel like Patrice needed to take accountability for her saying what she said about Will, just the same way as Koshia. She was going around and had so much negativity and so much negative to say when it came to the men that it's like you might not even want to shoot your shot now. They would not feel just like the men saying that Mika, you're a homegirl. You're definitely a homegirl. You can't accept that. You don't like that because that's what they're saying about you. So why is it such a difference? And why should it be to where y'all are ganging up on Alexis for basically just saying like, hey, in this process, I'm trying to get to know you, and I might have found out something that was, a little off putting to me. So I'd like to talk about it. That's not too big of a deal. Yeah, it still was something that happened in the ladies' lounge, but she's still trying to open herself up to get to know this man. So that might be something that she needs to have a conversation with him about to find out the truth. Because again, and it could be the women are jealous of her. So they're going to, listen, right now she is going to be the worst person ever because they don't have no connections, but they know she does. So what do? You get that person out so that now it opens y'all up. And that's kind of what it seems like is happening. Like, we'll go ahead and throw all this on Alexis. We won't take accountability for what was said. The other women, just like you said, Lana, the other women said nothing about how he came to them one by one by one by one, trying to find out who said it. He even said it in his confessional. Alexis didn't tell him who said it, so he's going to go find out on his own. So I feel like there's not enough accountability being taken, but there's definitely a lot of mudslinging. And look, this is definitely not ready for love. But if you're not going to be ready to love and you just want to be on camera, at least bring something, bring more, keep me entertained.
Yep. Yeah. But now let's go to the final. So we had three men at the bottom. We had Will, Jonathan, and William. So Tommy threw in a curveball and he said two of these men will be eliminated. Now that was quite crazy to me because the men to men women ratio is quite low, so I don't understand why they went further to do that. And unfortunately, not fortunately, Will and Jonathan got eliminated. For me, I'm quite happy that Jonathan got eliminated. A fellow Nigerian, but he pisses me off. I just did not like him. You guys know I've never liked Jonathan. I don't know, maybe it's the edit that is making him come across like that. But one thing I despise so much is people who go extra hard to try to have this mysterious image. I don't know, I just don't like it. If you do not want to be an open book, nobody needs to be an open book. But at least let me, when you're speaking to me, I should be able to say, okay, this person is telling the truth, this person is telling a lie. I don't necessarily need to know everything about you. But the fact that you came to a show to find love and you are hiding, 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 is just it was really it was really it was really irritating to me. Like Jonathan, no, no, like no, 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 no. But for Will is actually a victim of himself and a victim of his mouth. He spoke too much, did too much, was too jovial, was too playful. Like if he had come or across like Alonso, I don't think people would have been so irritated. But he was too, what's that word? I'm looking for it. It felt too, when I want to say something, then the words just elude me every time. What's the word when you mean that someone feels like everybody owes them something?
Oh,
Oh, the word just hasn't come. But it felt like the
yeah, the
women
word, as soon as you asked, it just came to my mind and then slipped out. That's crazy.
it felt like the women owed him like companionship. It felt like he was too hot, he was too fine, and that any woman he wanted, he could get them. And I guess the women just humbled him. That's why he could not take the fact that the women did not like him. To be honest, prior to the whole sleeping on the floor issue, he was just not liked. And that's just it. And
I
the fact
mean,
that they
seeing
hated
from the
that
very the
they
mixer.
hated Alexis, it just did not help.
No, but look at how he was at the mixer though. Like we seen even when he was talking to Coach Shea and he just kind of like made her give him her phone and put his number in there and was like he was intense. Like we know William was definitely intense. So I seen him ready to go. And Jonathan, what was the whole point of him even being there? I don't understand that because he he didn't want to give anything. So we were confused about your baby mama or your wife, like how that is, because you kind of hid or told lies about that, I guess, in ways. Then you don't want to open up and tell, like you act like them asking your non-negotiables was asking you your credit score or
Child, we
the
got
last
another
four of
move
your
on.
social. Like like he was acting like they was asking him for a kidney. Oh, I don't want to open up like this. So you're telling me that you can't tell a person that you meet, whether it's a friend or somebody that who's you're going to be romantic with, you're telling me it's hard for you to tell them, like, listen, if we're going to be around each other, there's just certain things I can't deal with and certain things that I just will not. Like that was too much. What are you there for? I feel like he still double back and circles back to his ex-wife. It's been less than 2 years, even though he said 2 years. I feel like it's less, but it was just. I feel like it was a great pick for those two to leave. Like they definitely needed to, but I just didn't. I don't know.
I
I
mean, at
That
this
seen
ladies'
point,
lounge still gets me. I'm still stuck at the ladies' lounge just because the way that they was acting about the whole thing, and then, just whatever.
I mean,
They was ready for Will to go anyway.
at this point, Glenn is doing better on Ready to Love this season. I'm very proud of him.
hmm one thing I seen a picture with Jonathan took a picture with what's the guy from last season who was
On Make a Move or the regular season.
no, not make a move the regular season. I think he's a Nigerian as well.
Oh, Chris.
Oh, Chris,
Chris. On social media, I seen them take a picture together, posted a picture. So
Chris
I'm
and
pretty
who?
sure Chris and Jonathan.
Oh, oh
So
my.
I'm pretty sure that there's a connection there somehow. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure that Chris informed Jonathan of the things that might happen and could happen or go wrong or this because he came on the show very reserved. And I thought that that right there might work for him. You know what I'm saying? Because if you found the right woman, you would open up to, but it just did
That
not.
part.
And then the fact that whenever he got to the pajama jam he was just doing the most there. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So a lot of times, some people really don't want to expose themselves too much because if they show too much, it would disinterest a lot of people, and that could be the case or it could not be the case. But I was very disappointed because I had high hopes for Jonathan, just because I felt like what he said up front, like the things that he's been through, and he's actually looking for love, and he's very intentional about how he's going to move, and he did the complete opposite of what he said he was going to do. You know what I mean? Because you
Exactly.
have to be very open in this process and very understanding in this process. And at the same time, you have to give a lot to receive a lot. He did not do that. So in this moment of his life, I don't feel like he is ready to love. He has more work he needs to do on himself
Mhm.
to to get in position to get love or receive love or give love.
Right. No, I agree. I think that it's with this show you have to know that you're going into this to be seen. And not to be seen intentionally, but you have to know that you will be seen. The problem with this show is you can't use the real world as your playbook in this game. You have to do three things: let your mind be present, let your spirit be available, and have the soul to be open to what can be. The problem is how, to use Jada's words, entangled you get into this web. Um, and I think that for some people, if you guys remember Charlotte's Web, Charlotte only made sure one pig was okay, and that was Wilbur. I think that this web is being created, and some of these people are Wilbur, and others are going to get caught up. Real talk.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. And when it
What you want
comes
to
to what you said, Q, about Chris and Jonathan, we seen Chris was a totally different person. Chris was very transparent and open,
say?
and he was definitely for the process. I feel Jonathan, on the other hand, he was standoffish the whole time. He was very, very closed off. Just just it was almost like he was afraid to really be himself. I don't feel like that's the real Jonathan. Like he just seemed more like, and I agree with you. Allow me. It did seem like they would use his words against him, so he was afraid of that. So he was just like, I'm just going to only give you the bare minimum that's needed for the time that we're filming. Because
Mhm.
I don't even remember hearing any of the women speak about having a connection outside of there. Getting his number, or he getting their number and then texting. Like it just didn't seem like there was really any try to really communicate or be a part of the process like that.
No, I definitely agree with that. I think with Jonathan, it is something that if your soul's not right, you're not going to be able to give to anybody's soul. As I often say, you cannot. How can a blessing give to a curse? And that doesn't mean that you are a curse, but maybe there are some strongholds and maybe some thinking that is a curse. And when that's not binded for you to be able to give your full self, you do end up hurting others. But yeah, so I mean, who knew that a child's book could be a good metaphor for ready to love, though? I mean, really, just Lord help.
Silly.
Listen,
Yeah.
And I agree with you, Solana. I do feel like Will is a you know, him himself is the one who he really needs to blame. Just because of the way he came off a lot of times. I do feel like he
And the
has a
words
lot.
entitled.
Yes, entitled, very much so. When you go talking about your accomplishments, you feel like your accomplishment should come with this. Your accomplishment should come with that. You know what I mean? And just because that didn't fall in the line um, of how he think it should have went, you know what I mean? He just wasn't successful at all.
But yeah, I think we've covered all parts of the episode, right?
correct.
Yeah, there wasn't really nothing to cover it, and hell, we just gave it more life than what I feel like it really showed. So, yeah.
So that should be all right. See you guys next week. Don't
Yeah,
forget to like, subscribe, and is that your son? Tell him hi.
I will. I will.
Hi,
Much
little
love.
Q.
Love. Yes, indeed.
He been doing
All
good all
right.
show.
All right. So see you guys next time. Bye bye.
All right, love y'all, family. Be easy.
Bye.